The Extraordinary Rendition of Janos Farkas. Chapter 39. Spencer stared at the door. More than 20 minutes had passed, and yet he could not take his eyes off it, willing it to open and have her come back. To see her look in his eyes again and to ask how he was. To feel her hands in his. To lean together and brush lips against cheeks, to say to her, "How do I love thee? Let me count the ways." He had not been prepared for the real her, not for her real beauty, the depth he saw in her when she entered the room, the vulnerability she brought with her, the pathos, the reality of soul, of love. These were things not belonging to a puppet or an actor on stage. These were things that were real to a person, the things that made the person real. Had she believed him? She showed no signs of suspicion. No flicker, no shadow of doubt had crossed her eyes when he had looked into them. The only quivering of her lips, the only wetness in her looks, those were the only hesitations in her actions. And when she had reached out and touched the mutilation of her face, that small hesitation too. It was like she too, at that moment, was accepting the reality. He reached up and touched his own face. It was like touching something foreign, alien, distant, something that did not belong to him. He looked at the mirror behind him. The reflection was just as foreign as the touch, but the emptiness of the room startled him. Why was he being left alone? It must have been at least 30 minutes ago that she had left. Why was he not being taken back to his cell? Looking at the mirror, he thought of asking it the question. Someone would be there, someone with the answer. But would they tell it to him? He turned from the mirror, not wanting to give whoever was there the satisfaction of reading his face. Staring at the door, he waited for its inevitable opening. The knock that came surprised him. Why knock? It wasn't exactly as if he could get up and let someone in. His visitors could come unannounced as they pleased. The knock came again. He sat waiting and watching. When the knock came the third time, he started to laugh. "Come in," he said. "Come in. It's not locked on your side." The lanky frame of Max came through. He was carrying the same travel duffel that Spencer had first seen him with. "Sorry for making you wait," he said. "I had to make sure there was no trace of either you or I in the other room. You can only shred and burn so much at a time in a room without proper ventilation. The ashes are in one of the whiskey cylinders. I also had to would do something important for both of us." Spencer watched him, waiting for the answer. "Aren't you going to ask?" Max said. "What?" Spencer replied. "I had to finish the McCallum. There were a couple of good shots left in it, and you wouldn't want me to leave it to them, would you?" Not the 25-year-old. "What do you want, just Max?" Spencer asked. "Why did you come in here?" "To say goodbye," just Max replied. "I'm leaving your life." "Goodbye, then." The room went quiet, the two of them coexisting in a space that neither seemed to know how to occupy. It was Spencer who broke the silence. "Is there something else?" he asked. "Just that, well, I want to say that I wish you luck, that I admire you for your courage in doing this. I'm not sure I could. Those few days we spent together made me feel," his voice faltered and he looked away, "made me feel personally involved in this, more personally than I should be. I feel like I want to go with you to see how this turns out, help you, be your backup. But that's not how the game is played. If I stayed with you, I would know the truth. I would know that you are not real, and that knowledge could put you in danger. I might slip up. Not you, me. That's why each of us knows so little about an operation. That's why each of us doesn't even know for sure what the other one is doing. We play our part, then leave. You can't reveal what you don't know. What you do after you leave here, I don't know. I know that somehow you are meant to get to Beirut, that you meet Howard and somehow his plan is foiled. I don't know if it's you who does it or if it's someone else. I don't even know if you're the key player. Your role may be to support someone else. It's not always clear. And the person you're supporting may not know about you. It's not always clear. When Ignatius puts someone into an operation, they make them play it for real. There are no instructions or guidelines to follow. No little man comes knocking in the night and says, here's what you do next. It's not like that. Everything is played as if it were the real thing. When you leave here, you won't do what Spencer Elliott would do. You won't even do what Spencer Elliott as Janos Farkas would do. You'll do what the real Janos Farkas would do. Spencer looked at him without emotion. He would like to have said to him that over the last few days he had somehow become important to him too. But the meeting with Ein had taken that away. Before it had been a game, a dangerous game, but a game nonetheless. Now there was a real person in it, a person who had somehow fallen into the middle of it all by chance. Fallen into it without rhyme or reason. Someone who had picked the wrong time and the wrong place to get involved. He had seen her eyes, looked into them, and that look was now inside him. Max and Ignatius and whoever else were toying with his emotions, were toying with something that was real, and that somehow bothered him more than anything else. Is that all? He said. Yes, Max replied. I just wanted to say goodbye. He turned and reached for the door. As his hand touched the handle, he said, There's one more thing. What's that? Spencer asked. You're escaping tomorrow. What? Max turned. The grin was ear to ear. Something has changed in their plans. I think something was going to happen that they didn't like. Anyway, it's going to be tomorrow morning now. Very early. How? I don't know. Like I said, my part is over. I don't know what happens from here. All I know is that it will be real. There's only one thing you can do. Do what Janos would do. No faking it. No excuses. That's the end of chapter 39. Tomorrow, chapter 40.